Welcome to all of you in my YouTube channel. In this video, I will discuss the second part of Lost String Stories of Stolen Childhood. The title of the second part is I Want to Drive a Car. The second part is all about a boy named Mukesh who belonged to the family of bangle making. This story is said, or this part is in this part mentioned Firozabad, in which bangle making is the main uh, profession for all the people. But Mukesh was different from all of them. Mukesh was different from all as he wanted to be a motor mechanic. He did not want to continue the family profession. Most most of the people in Firozabad worked in bangle making factories, and they uh, they followed a particular pattern of life. Anis Jung in this particular chapter tried to explain the difficulties and hazards of bangle makers. She also explained about the pain of the people. Anis Jung had written this particular story on the basis of her practical experiences. She had gone to the house of Mukesh, she met to the family members of Mukesh, and she also talked about the people in Firozabad. And afterwards, she reached the conclusion that the government forced the people to work in these bangle making factories for getting a lot of profit. And these people stuck in that business. They could not start up a new business, as if they would try to leave these factories, the government would force them to work. Sometimes they would be sent to jail, and uh, fake cases would be lodged against them. So Anis Jung asked Mukesh if he could drive car. Mukesh replied that he would learn to drive a car and he wanted to be a motor mechanic. His eyes were shining when he answered the questions of Anis Jung, and Mukesh was completely different as he wanted to break the family tradition. But Anis Jung doubted about Mukesh's dream. She thought that his dream could never be fulfilled, or it could be lost into the dusty path of Firozabad because of his family condition and background. Anis Jung described about the factories, about the condition of these factories. Almost 20,000 children worked in these bangle making factories, and the children did not even know that it was illegal for them to work in these bangle making factories. And if government would take proper steps, these children would be out of these factories. These children worked in narrow rooms, and these rooms were completely dark, and their eyes were adjusted in darkness more than in light. Anis Jung also explained the effect of working in such type of dark rooms. So many people in Firozabad had lost their eyesights. It was very much destructive for them. Anis Jung also described in this part about the condition of the houses in which they lived. Anis Jung had gone to the house of Mukesh and saw that the house was poorly constructed. The walls were not straight but oblique, and Mukesh's family consists of 5 members, and Mukesh's father's earning was not too much. It means after lifelong work, he could only be able to make a house, and that was his achievement. Here, except the family of Mukesh, Anis Jung also visited some other people in Firozabad. One of them was Sabita, a young girl who was working, who was also making bangles. Sabita did not know the auspiciousness of the bangles. She would get to know when she would be married. One old lady was sitting beside her. She also explained the pain of the people. She said that after working hard in these bangle making factories, they could not be able to get even sufficient food to eat. So Anis Jung depicted the pain of the people in Firozabad, and she wanted to attract the attention of the readers towards them so that they could be free from such type of hazardous works. Here, Anis Jung's prime intention was to make the readers aware about the plight of these poor people. So, according to her, poverty is a curse and it is artificial. The poverty could be removed from the people's lives if all the people would come forward to help them. So, here Mukesh, Mukesh wanted to be a motor mechanic, but Anis Jung thought that Mukesh would also be lost into this world of bangle making, because Anis Jung then also discussed about the paths and the streets of Firozabad. Wheresoever she looked, she found the bangles of different colored, and the bangles were kept in a hand drawn cart and were carried from place to place. Mukesh's house was not so spacious. The lane was very narrow and it was full of bad smell. So almost all the family members in Firozabad achieved nothing in their lives. They only worked day in and day out, but they got nothing. Their earnings were also too low, and there. So Mukesh Anis Jung also talked about some people in Firozabad. She asked them why could they not cooperate to each other to start up a new business. They said that if they would try, they would be sent to jail and legal cases would be lodged against them. So Anis Jung also understood the trap of these rich people. She understood that middleman, means middleman, the merchants, the government, all mixed up, and they forced the poor people to work in these factories for their profit. So here her prime intention was to give them a better life. She saw the children who were working in these dark rooms, and these children were habituated to work for a long time. And one thing she also saw, that the children did not go to school. Instead of going to the school, the children worked in these bangle making factories. And she also projected, or also she also explained that the dust particles of these bangles were very much harmful to the eyes. So here the children should go to the school instead of going to the bangle making factories, but due to the family condition, due to the economical condition, they would have to support their parents. So that is the prime part of this chapter. Means in the second part, Anis Jung discussed about the problems of problems of bangle makers, and she tried to give them a better life. And later on, means Anis Jung discussed about Mukesh, that he wanted to be a motor mechanic, but the place where she wanted to learn was far away from his house. But and Mukesh was determined that he would walk on foot and reach up to that. So that is the simple summary of this text. Now in the next video I will provide you some more questions, and also I will try to cover up the word meanings. Thank you.